Have you ever tried to make a big change in your life, only to fall back into your old ways within like a week? Maybe you started a new diet, a workout plan, a new morning routine, and it felt exciting at first, but then life got busy. Stress started to hit, it's raining, you get tired, and suddenly you were right back where you started. And I know for me in my life, I've done that more times than I'd like to admit. My plans and hopes always sound really good the night before, but then the morning hits and you just wake up and you're like, I just can't get out of bed, you know? So if that sounds familiar, it's not because you're lazy. It's because real change doesn't come from big dramatic decisions. It comes from small, consistent choices made over and over and over again. In this video, we're diving into 4 ways that small things truly change your life. We'll explore how willpower is like a muscle, how consistency is just so critical, how to override bad habits and replace them with good ones, and stick around for the last one, because I think it's one that helps the most of all. Let's get into it. In 1998, psychologists conducted a study that shaped how we understand willpower today. Here's what happened. Researchers invited participants into a lab under the pretense of a taste test. The room smelled absolutely amazing. It smelled just like chocolate chip cookies, freshly baked chocolate chip cookies, which is one of the best smells next to the baking of fresh bread. But here was the twist. Some people, about half of them, were told that they could eat the cookies. Others were given a radish. They had to resist the cookies, overcome the smell, everything that was pulling you to have that delicious, warm, gooey cookie. After the taste test, all the participants were given a problem-solving task. The task was actually impossible. It was probably something like a slide puzzle, because for me, I have no idea how to do those things. I always pick one up thinking that maybe this time it'll be different, but I genuinely have no clue how to solve those things. And this was the real test. How long would someone persist at an impossible task before giving up? The result kind of fascinated them. The radish group, the people who had to basically resist the smell of the cookies, weren't allowed to pick one up off the table and instead had to pick a radish. They gave up way, way faster. And the reason why? They had already used up all of their willpower resisting the temptation to take a cookie. Before the puzzle challenge even started, they had already burned through their willpower energy. And this led to how we see willpower today. It's like a muscle. You have a tank full of however much willpower you have at the start of every day. Use too much of it in a short period of time, it gets way too tired and you lose all motivation and productivity. But if you train it gradually, it gets stronger. It bulks up. You have more reserves. So your willpower is like a muscle. If you push yourself to the brink and a little bit into the exhaustion, but not overdoing it, it'll grow and you'll be able to do more the next day and then the next day. So you have to train it like it's a muscle group. You have to take your willpower to the gym, so to speak. Key tip number 2 is we try too often to change our lives by just flipping a switch. I'm going to change literally everything about myself today. But transformation really doesn't work like that. I've always thought that real transformation kind of happens that quick. You just decide to make it happen and then it just does. Because when you hear how someone built something amazing or incredible, they talk about how a quote or a certain action just absolutely floored them. How it made them rethink everything about life and everything about what they wanted to achieve. But real change isn't really made like that. It isn't just a single decision. It's made in 1,000 small ones. And I've had a number of occasions where I think it's going to be the turning point, where this is going to be the last day of the bad habit. This is the last day I'm going to doom scroll on Instagram. Only to maintain it for maybe a few days, maybe a week if I'm lucky, to be honest, and then I fall back into old habits and I just give up again. The hard part is that when you make that decision to change your life, you have to make it every single day. And it happens over and over and over and over again. It's the brushing your teeth even when you're tired. It's going for a 30-minute walk instead of skipping it. Drinking water instead of soda. Putting your phone down. These choices seem small in the moment, but as they compound over time, they shape who you are and shape your identity. And ultimately result in you changing your behavior and your life. But the real challenge is that consistency. Making a decision just once, that's easy. You can decide to start waking up early. You can decide to eat healthier. You can decide to write or journal every single day. But making that decision every single day when no one's watching, when it's cold outside, when you're too stressed over work or maybe even exhausted, that's the real battle. That's the real hard part of changing behavior. That's where habits really come into play. You see, every habit you have, either good or bad, follows a fairly simple loop. And this comes from the book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Let's kind of break down what a habit is. You have a cue, which leads into a routine, and then a reward. The cue is something that triggers the habit. Maybe it's boredom, maybe it's stress, or maybe it's even just a certain time of the day. Then that leads into your routine. This is what you actually do. This is kind of the core habit part. You check your phone, you eat potato chips, you scroll on social media, or waste time on your phone. Then you have the reward. You feel the relief, you feel that little bit of dopamine from the distraction, you get that little bit of pleasure. To change a habit, you don't just remove it, you have to replace it with something. It starts by recognizing that cue. Let's say the cue is getting home after work. Your routine might be grabbing a soda, maybe a bag of potato chips, and then doom scrolling or putting on a Netflix show. What if instead you went for a short walk? Maybe took a couple deep breaths. Maybe even journaled for a few minutes. At first, it'll feel kind of hard because it's unnatural. It's against kind of what your habit is. But over time, your brain starts to associate that new routine with the old reward. It kind of rewires itself. The bad habit gets pushed further and further back, and the new habit really starts to take its place. It starts to connect that cue with that different routine, and then back to the same reward. You have to actually understand what cues your bad habit. The next time you feel the urge to do a habit that you're trying to kick, start by thinking, what is the cue for this habit? Where am I right now? Am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I bored? What's the cause? Drill into that, and then you can figure out how to change your routine going forward. Here's a truth that I don't think people talk about enough. Bad habits don't ever really fully go away. They just kind of get pushed to the background. Hopefully something better and new takes its place. They're still there, waiting, especially when you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. The more you practice the new habit, the stronger the pathway becomes and the weaker the old one gets. It's like blazing a new trail when you're going on a hike. It's rough, it's unfamiliar. The more you walk it and the more you do it, the easier and clearer it becomes. And eventually, it's just your default route. Jumping back to willpower. It's just like a muscle, and that also means it can get worn out. There's a thing called decision fatigue, where the more choices we have to make in a day, especially the ones where it actually takes some conscious thought and some self-control, the more drained we become. That's why some of the most productive people in the world just simplify their lives as much as possible. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every single day. Athletes eat the same meals and focus on the same training regimens. Writers completely block out distractions whenever they want to get in the zone. They reduce the number of decisions they have to make so that they can save the willpower for what really matters, for the goals they actually want to achieve. Here's the good news. Just like a muscle, willpower can be trained. So start small. Set a timer for 5 minutes and just clean your room. Get something done. Be a little bit productive. Go for a walk around the block even if you don't really feel like it. Say no to that extra cookie just once. Each time you're doing this, you're doing kind of like a mental push-up. It won't feel like much, but give it enough time and it builds that mental strength. Lastly, I think one of the big takeaways I got from kind of studying this on how important it is to change your life just little by little is we have to live consciously. And that doesn't mean overthinking every single move. It means being aware of your patterns, your triggers, your defaults, you. It means noticing when you feel tempted, when you feel resistance, and when you fall back into that autopilot mode. Awareness is the first step to real change. From there, it's about creating small shifts, little choices, one step at a time, that then, over a long enough period, compound into real incredible growth. So if you're trying to change your life, don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for some motivational quote to change your entire outlook on life. You're the one in the driver's seat. You can decide right now to change your life for the better. Start small, stay consistent, and understand your habits. Train and build your willpower. And above all, do it with proper intention. It's not really the big things that really change your life when you're changing human behavior. It's the small things that when you repeat over and over and over and over again, that really shape who you become. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you liked this message, make sure to check out some of the other videos that I've done on similar topics on productivity, kind of self-improvement, something I've been really trying to dive in more of and hopefully share it with you guys. I try to share practical ways to improve your habits, your mindset, hopefully even your career, just one step at a time. Let me know in the comments what is one small change that you're going to make this week. Make sure to check out the website, mycareerpathpodcast.com, and sign up for the newsletter. I try to send one out with every single video. Hopefully, even if you just read it, hopefully you'll find something that'll help you out. Thanks so much. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.